You can let yourself settle now. Whatever you were carrying today, whatever thoughts were still turning over somewhere behind your eyes, you can set them down gently, the way you might set down something heavy you had been holding for a long time without quite noticing the weight. There's nothing you need to do tonight, nothing you need to remember, nothing you need to become. You are simply here, in the quiet, and the quiet is enough. Find a comfortable position, if you haven't already. Let your shoulders drop a little lower than they were. Let your hands soften. Let the surface beneath you hold all of your weight. Not some of it, not most of it, but all of it. And notice, just for a moment, how willing that surface is to do exactly that. It has been waiting to hold you all day. Your breathing can slow now. You don't need to force it. Just allow each breath to arrive a little more gently than the one before, and allow each exhale to carry something out with it. Some small remaining tension, some small remaining urgency. Out and away, like dust drifting through still air, like dust settling, like sediment finding the floor of things. In a moment, you'll find yourself somewhere else entirely. Somewhere low and wide and warm. Somewhere where the light is the color of old honey, and the air carries the faint mineral smell of fired clay that has been cooling for a very long time. Somewhere quiet in a way that very few places are quiet. Not empty, not abandoned, but deeply, patiently at rest. You'll walk there slowly. There's no hurry. There's never any hurry in this place. The pace here is the pace of settling dust. And if you've ever watched dust settle in a late shaft of light, you already understand exactly what that means. Close your eyes, if they're not already closed. Take one more slow breath and begin. The first thing you notice is the warmth. Not a sharp warmth, not the sudden warmth of a fire or an oven door swung open, but a low, patient, residual warmth, the kind that has been building slowly for centuries and releasing itself just as slowly into the evening air. It comes from the brick, from the enormous curved walls of the kilns that rise on either side of you as you enter the yard, each one roughly oval in cross-section, each one perhaps 4 times your height. The brick so old and so deeply fired that it has taken on a color not quite red and not quite brown, somewhere between the two, veering toward amber where the late light catches it, darkening toward rust in the long shadows between. You run your palm along the nearest wall without thinking. The brick is smooth in a way that stone gets smooth, not polished, but worn. The small irregularities of its surface rounded by time and handling, by hundreds of other palms that have pressed against it over the years. And it is warm, radiantly, steadily warm, the way a stone holds warmth after a long afternoon of sun. Except here, the warmth is older than any afternoon, stored not from sunlight, but from the firing that happened long ago. A last great heat that has been seeping outward through the clay-dense walls ever since, giving itself up degree by imperceptible degree to the cooling evening. You leave your hand there for a moment. You can feel the warmth move into your palm and travel slowly up your wrist. It is unhurried. It has no intention of burning you. It simply offers itself the way old, warm things do, openly, without demand. The air around you is something between the smell of that warm brick and something sharper, cleaner, colder. The smell of open sky and cooling stone, of an evening drawing in from the plain beyond the yard's low perimeter walls. It is a dry smell, a mineral smell, kind of smell that lives at the back of the throat as a faint, dry taste. Not unpleasant, just present, like the memory of clay, like something the earth has been holding on to. You breathe it in slowly. The yard stretches out before you, not in a single straight line, but in a gentle, winding path. The narrow gauge rail beds threading between the kilns, like the dried beds of small streams. Their iron rails dark with age, their wooden tie boards silvered and faintly warped, but still holding their shape, still doing their patient work of holding everything in place. The rail beds are too narrow for anything larger than a small cart, and the carts, wherever they are this evening, are not here. The rails are empty, and your footsteps find the space between them naturally, your feet finding a slow rhythm on the hard-packed earth that lies between the ties, a rhythm that feels almost like it was always yours. Your foot finds the edge of a railbed tie, and the wood gives the faintest creak under your weight. Not a warning, not a complaint, just a small voice, a soft report to the air that something living has passed this way. The sound settles. The yard absorbs it. The light is amber. Deeply, unhurriedly amber. A late evening light that seems to have been filtered through something the color of old glass, something the color of the sediment that coats the inner throats of the kilns, so that everything it touches shares a little of that warmth, that golden brown quietness. The kilns glow in it. Their curved walls catch it and hold it and give it back to the air at a slightly lower intensity, so that walking between them is like walking between two sources of very gentle light at once, the sky above and the brick around you, both of them amber, both of them cooling, both of them settling toward the lilac that is already beginning to gather at the horizon beyond the yard's far edge. You look toward that horizon for a moment. The lilac is thin still, just a suggestion, a softening of the amber at the lowest edge of the sky, the place where the day's color is already beginning to release its hold. Above it, the amber holds. Above that, somewhere very high, the first faint suggestion of a deeper blue. But that is far away. Here, at eye level, everything is amber and warm brick, and the slow drift of the kiln's residual breath. You can see now, carried on that breath, drifting in the low, slanted light, the sediment. It is fine, extraordinarily fine, the kind of particulate that you might not notice at all in ordinary light, but in this amber slant, it is visible as a faint, continuous drift, a slow, barely there movement of pale ochre and pale gray motes turning in the air between the kilns, not blown, not disturbed, just drifting, the way the lightest particles always drift, carried by the faintest thermoclines, by the barely perceptible difference in temperature between the warm brick face and the cooler open air. It is like watching something breathe, like the kilns themselves are exhaling something very small and very slow and very patient into the evening. You breathe in, and the dry mineral taste arrives again at the back of your throat, and you understand that you have breathed in a little of that sediment, a little of the kiln's long exhale, and somehow this feels right, feels like a kind of communion with the place, something offered and received. And then you hear the Tendwright. She is 3 kilns ahead of you, her back to you, her attention entirely on the curved brick flank of the 3rd kiln along the left-hand railbed. She is holding something, a rod, slender, perhaps the length of her forearm and a half, its shaft made from some pale wood worn smooth by years of handling, and at its tip, a small brass fitting, a rounded cap, slightly flared at the base, the listening rod. You have been told about this, the instrument she carries, the one she uses to hear the interior of each kiln, to sense whether the sediment deep within the firing throat has shifted since the last round. You have been told, but seeing it now, watching her raise it to the brick with the careful deliberateness of someone who has performed this action 10,000 times, you understand it differently than you did from a description. She leans the brass tip gently against the kiln wall, not pressing hard, just resting it there, her fingers loosely curled around the wooden shaft, her head slightly bowed, her eyes lowered, as though what she is receiving is arriving not through her ears, but through some quieter channel, some sense deeper than hearing. You stop walking. You don't want to disturb the moment. You stand very still, your own breathing slowed, your own weight settled, listening alongside her, though from your distance and without the rod, you hear nothing, or nearly nothing. Perhaps a faint suggestion of something, a resonance below resonance, the kind of tone you feel rather than hear, somewhere in the chest, in the bones. After a long moment, she lifts the rod from the wall and reaches to the cloth-bound ledger she carries, tucked under her left arm. It is thick, conspicuously thick. The cover's a deep brown-green cloth that has taken on a slight sheen with use. The pages inside visible at the edges as a compressed mass of pale cream. She opens it to a page marked with a thin leather cord and draws a chalk pencil from the pocket of her work coat, a long, pale stick of compressed chalk sheathed in a narrow wooden sleeve, and makes a mark. The sound of it is the softest sound in the world. That small scratch of chalk pencil on cloth paper, barely audible, even in the deep quiet of the yard, but you hear it clearly, the way you hear small sounds clearly when everything else is very still. A dry sound, a patient sound, the sound of something being noted, recorded, given its small permanence in the ledger of the world. She closes the ledger without looking up and moves on to the next kiln. Her footsteps are quiet on the hardpack between the rail ties. The wood creaks once, softly, and then she is at the next wall, already raising the rod. You follow, at a gentle distance, in no hurry, your own feet finding that same slow rhythm. Creak of wood, soft footfall, the amber light washing everything the color of patience, the sediment drifting in the last of the evening's warmth. The Tendwright does not speak. This is not a silence born of unfriendliness. You understand this without needing to be told. She simply does not speak during the rounds, the way some people do not speak when they are reading or listening to something very quiet. The work requires a kind of interior stillness, and that stillness communicates itself outward, and you find, as you follow her, that you have stepped into her quiet, the way you might step into a room where music is playing very softly, and find yourself adjusting your whole manner to match. The third kiln. She pauses before she even raises the rod and simply stands with her palm flat against the brick, eyes closed, feeling. You watch her face. There's nothing urgent there, nothing concerned, just a quality of attention, a quality of simple reception, the way a hand receives warmth. She holds the contact for a long moment. Then she places the brass tip to the wall, just above the level of her shoulder, and listens again. This time, she listens longer. You find yourself listening too, your own head slightly tilted, though you are too far away to hear anything the rod might carry. When she makes her mark in the ledger this time, she makes 2 marks, a longer notation, the chalk pencil moving with a slightly different intention, recording something more specific, more particular, a small observation, something noticed. She holds the ledger open for a moment after writing and looks at what she has written, tilting the page toward the amber light. And there's the faintest quality of satisfaction in her expression. Not excitement, not urgency, just a kind of quiet rightness, the expression of someone whose careful attention has been repaid. Then she closes the ledger and walks on. You follow. Between the 3rd and 4th kilns, the rail bed widens slightly into a small, flat space. A loading area, perhaps, from an earlier time when the kilns were in use, when carts would have sat waiting for the goods to cool enough to touch. There's nothing there now but the rail bed itself, and, along the near edge, a low wooden shelf mounted to a post, holding a small collection of tools, a handled brush with stiff gray bristles, a stack of small ceramic cups, a roll of fine wire gauze folded and stacked with patient precision, and beside them, a narrow tin basin that holds, when you lean close to look, perhaps 3 fingers of very fine pale dust, the sifted sediment from previous rounds, already collected, already waiting to be recorded or set aside, or whatever the Tendwright does with it on the days when there is enough of it to matter. You look at the dust in the basin. It is extraordinary in the amber light. The particles are so fine and so evenly settled that the surface of the dust is almost perfectly flat, the way the surface of standing water is flat, and the light lands on it from one side and reflects back from the particles at the surface in a way that makes the whole basin glow very faintly, a warm, pale ochre shimmer, the color of dry summer grass, the color of old paper, the color of light through a closed eyelid. You look at it for a long moment. You could look at it for a very long time. The Tendwright has already moved to the 4th kiln, already listening. You catch up, your footsteps quiet, the rail bed creaking its small creak beneath you. The 4th kiln is slightly taller than the others, not dramatically, not noticeably from any distance. But here beside it, you are aware of its additional height, its additional presence, the way its warmth reaches just a little further out into the cooled air, a little more generous with its residual heat. Its brick is darker too, more rust than amber, deeper in color, as though it was fired harder or more often than its neighbors. Its walls more thoroughly suffused with the heat it has been slowly, patiently releasing. You press your own palm against it as you pass. The warmth moves into your hand immediately, and this time you stay with it longer than you expected to. There's something in the quality of warmth in old fired brick that is unlike any other warmth. It is deep warmth, structural warmth, warmth that goes all the way through, warmth that is not a surface condition, but a property of the thing itself, as though the brick has become a different kind of material through its long intimacy with fire, as though it carries the fire's nature inside it even now, centuries after the last flame. Your hand is warm. Your wrist is warm. The warmth moves up your arm as you stand there, and you breathe in the dry mineral smell of the wall, and the cool evening air behind it, and the dust, and the fired clay, and the very faint sweetness of the cooling sediment. And you feel very still. You feel held in some way, not enclosed or trapped, but held, the way a hand holds something carefully, the way warm air holds a stone. The Tendwright has moved ahead again. She is working methodically, kiln by kiln, and you can see now, as the path curves gently to the right and opens up a longer view, that there are many more kilns ahead. Many more, stretching away into the amber distance, their curved walls receding in size and color as they go, becoming smaller and more amber, and finally, just warmth-colored shapes in the haze of sediment and late light at the path's far end. The yard is larger than you had understood. This does not worry you. The pace is such that distance has lost most of its urgency. The path is there. The kilns are there. The Tendwright will reach each one in time, and time is what there is plenty of here. She has arrived at the 5th kiln, and this one, you can see it from where you are standing. This one has changed. Even from a distance you can see it. A pale drift of very fine dust spilling from the base of the kiln's throat. The narrow vertical opening in the lower brickwork, perhaps knee-height, through which the kiln's interior can be accessed, and from which, it seems, a small new accumulation of pale ochre sediment has emerged since the morning round. The dust forms a small fan shape at the base of the throat opening, lighter and paler than the surrounding earth, catching the amber light with particular intensity. The Tendwright crouches before it. She does this very slowly, with the ease of someone whose body is accustomed to this motion, and she crouches until she is nearly at the level of the throat opening and looks at the sediment, her face very close to it, her eyes quiet and attentive. She does not touch it yet. She only looks. She looks for a long time, and the amber light is very beautiful on her face, and on the pale dust, and on the dark red brick behind her. Then she reaches to the leather satchel at her hip. You had not noticed it before, but now you see it. A flat, square satchel, barely larger than the ledger she carries, its strap worn to softness. And from it, she draws a small wire sieve, the kind with a wooden handle. The mesh so fine it is nearly invisible from this distance, catching the light in the same way the surface of the sediment in the basin did, as a very faint shimmer. She also draws one of the small ceramic cups. It must have been there in the satchel alongside the sieve. And she settles the cup on the earth beside the throat opening, and very carefully, using just the outer edge of her index finger, begins to guide the spilled sediment into the cup. The motion is delicate beyond description. Each movement of her finger covers perhaps a centimeter of dust, moving it in a slow, patient arc toward the cup's opening. It is a motion that asks nothing of haste. It is a motion that could take as long as it takes. You come closer and sit on the edge of the rail bed tie beside the kiln, your hands resting on your knees, and you watch. The dust collects in the cup. Slowly, a little at a time, the pale fan of ochre sediment narrows and diminishes as it is moved with extraordinary care into the ceramic cup. The cup's interior, as it fills, takes on the same faint shimmer as the surface of the dust in the tin basin, that warm, pale glow, the color of dried grass and old light. The dry mineral taste is present in the air here more strongly than anywhere else in the yard so far. You are very close to the kiln throat, close to the source, and the air that comes from within the kiln is warmer and drier and more densely mineral than the ambient air, carrying a concentration of the fired clay smell. the cooling stone smell, something older and deeper that you have no good name for except warmth and stone, except fired earth breath. You breathe it in slowly. It settles in your chest like a kind of comfort. The Tendwright has filled the cup and now lifts it and lifts the sieve and holds the cup over the sieve's mesh and begins to pour. Very slowly, almost tilting rather than pouring, so that the dust begins to fall through the fine wire mesh in the most gradual way possible, the finest particles falling through immediately and settling in a slow cloud below, and the slightly coarser particles remaining in the sieve, accumulating there in a thin, pale layer. She holds the sieve up to the last copper light, and in that position, her arm extended, the sieve tilted toward the western horizon, the amber and copper light pouring through the fine wire from behind, the sieve becomes something else entirely, something that is partly tool and partly window. The coarser sediment in the mesh glows, each particle briefly lit from behind, and the mesh itself creates a faint grid of shadow and copper light, so that what she is holding up to the sky is a small illuminated map of something very patient and very particular, the record of what the kiln has been releasing, grain by grain, in the hours since morning. You look at it from where you sit, and you feel something that is not quite emotion and not quite thought, something quieter and more physical, something like the feeling of watching water move or watching light change on a wall, a feeling of being very present in a moment without needing anything from it. She looks at it for a long time. Then she lowers the sieve and makes a longer notation in the ledger, the chalk pencil moving with careful intention. And even from here, the sound of it reaches you, that small, dry scratch, that patient record making. And you close your eyes for a moment and simply listen to it. Scratch. Pause. Scratch. The sound of something being known, being witnessed, being held in the ledger of the world. She empties the cup's contents into a small paper envelope she folds from a square of heavy paper in the satchel, and the remaining coarse sediment from the sieve joins it, and she folds the envelope with the same unhurried precision she has brought to every other motion tonight, and tucks it into the satchel. A small record, a small collection, the day's accumulation, weighed, sifted, observed, preserved. You walk on together, you and the Tendwright moving in your comfortable parallel quiet, and the kilns continue, each one a presence, each one exhaling its warmth and its sediment into the amber air, each one waiting patiently for its moment under the brass tip of the listening rod. The sixth kiln, the seventh. Your hand finds the wall again and again as you pass. You have developed the habit now, the habit of contact, the habit of feeling the warmth move into your palm and travel slowly up your arm. And each kiln offers the same thing in slightly different degree. This one, a little hotter still at its base. This one cooler at the crown. This one with a rougher texture at the join between two brick courses, where some earlier repair has been made with a slightly different clay, a slight ridge under your fingertips, a different temperature, a small story written in the wall. The seventh kiln has a small hollow in its outer face, not a crack, not a flaw, but a gentle oval depression, perhaps the size of a closed fist, worn into the brick by what must have been decades of exactly this contact, exactly this palm pressing against exactly this spot, the same gesture repeated until the brick itself yielded slightly, gave up a little of its surface, created a hollow that fits a palm almost perfectly. You press your palm into it. The hollow is warmer than the surrounding brick, concentrated warmth gathered into a cup shape, and it fits your hand so well and feels so exactly right that you stand there for a long moment, your eyes closed, just feeling the warmth settle into you, just breathing the dry mineral air. The rail bed creaks softly somewhere ahead as the Tendwright moves on. You open your eyes and follow, your footsteps finding the slow rhythm again, your breathing matching your pace, everything in the yard moving at the same unhurried frequency. The sediment drifting, the light thinning toward lilac at the horizon, the warmth of the brick radiating outward, the chalk pencil making its small, patient record. Between the 8th and 9th kilns, the rail bed curves more sharply to the right, and you find yourself in a slightly wider section of the yard, a small square of open space where the kilns step back on either side and the sky opens above you, broader than it has been since you entered. The amber light falls here without obstruction, and the lilac at the horizon is deeper now, more definite. No longer a suggestion, but a presence. A soft spreading color that has pushed the amber up slightly, so that there is now a visible band of lilac along the entire western edge of the sky, above which the amber continues to hold, and above which the deepening blue is becoming more apparent overhead. It is that particular hour of evening that is not quite dusk, but not quite night. The hour when all colors are at their most deliberate, most considered, as though the sky itself is taking its time. You stand in the open square for a moment. You tilt your face up slightly and look at the sky, the amber and the lilac, and the first faint stars becoming visible in the deep blue above. And you breathe in the cold, clean air from the plain beyond the yard's walls, mixing with the warm, sediment-laden air from between the kilns. And you breathe out, and you feel, without urgency, without force, a slow loosening in your chest, a slow unhooking of something that had been held, as though the day's accumulated tightness is just drifting outward like dust in still air, like sediment finding the floor of things. The 9th kiln is the smallest you have encountered so far, half the height of the 4th, more cylindrical in its shape, its brick a lighter color, almost sandstone pale in the fading amber light. The Tendwright pauses before it for longer than she has paused at any of the others. She sets the listening rod against its wall at 4 different points, low, mid, high, and then once more at the very base, where the kiln meets the earth, the brass tip resting in the slight gap where the lowest course of brick sits, not quite flush with the hardpack. At this last position, the lowest position, she holds the rod for a particularly long time. Her face is very still. Her breathing, as far as you can see, has slowed to match the pace of the yard itself. Long and quiet and mineral and patient, you find your own breathing has slowed again to match hers, the way breathing tends to synchronize between people who are being very still together. When she finally lifts the rod from the base of the kiln, she makes a notation in the ledger that takes longer than any previous notation. 3 or 4 lines of chalk pencil on cloth paper. The dry scratch of it, the only sound in the yard for a full measure of quiet. You do not try to see what she has written. It is enough that she has written it. It is enough that someone is keeping this record, noticing these small tonal shifts in the interior of old kilns, writing them down in a thick cloth-bound ledger by the light of a copper evening. Something about that act, the act of careful noticing, of patient record-keeping, of attending to the minute and the gradual and the almost imperceptible, settles something in you that language does not quite reach. The 10th kiln. The 11th. The yard has developed a rhythm now, a rhythm you have fully internalized, and you move through it without thinking, your feet finding the spaces between the rail bed ties without looking, your hand trailing along the warmth of the brick walls as you pass. The dry mineral taste a continuous, soft presence at the back of your throat, the sediment drifting in the thickening dusk around you, pale ochre and gray against the amber becoming lilac light. At the 11th kiln, a small thing happens. Not a significant thing, nothing dramatic, nothing that interrupts the yard's deep peace, but a small thing that is exactly as large as it needs to be. A piece of sediment, dislodged from some point in the upper throat of the kiln by some internal settling too slow and too gentle to have a name, drifts down the exterior wall of the kiln and lands on the back of your hand where it rests against the brick. It is the lightest possible touch, less than the weight of a thought. A single particle of pale ochre dust resting on the back of your hand in the last of the amber light, catching the light in a way that makes it briefly visible before the movement of your breathing, which is so slow, so patient now, disperses it, and it is gone. You watch the place on your hand where it was. You watch it for a long moment, though there is nothing to see now. And then you walk on. Somewhere past the 12th kiln, you have lost precise count, and it does not matter. The Tendwright pauses her work in a way that is slightly different from her usual pauses. She pauses not at a kiln wall, but in the open path between two kilns, and she sets the ledger and the rod down carefully against the nearest wall, and opens her satchel and draws out a small cloth-wrapped parcel, and from the parcel she unwraps a piece of dense bread and a narrow wedge of something pale and firm. She settles herself onto the wide, low wooden box that sits beside the railbed here, a permanent fixture, smoothed by years of sitting, the wood almost the color of the brick around it, and she eats, slowly, without any sense of haste or appetite, simply eating, the way one eats when eating is a quiet act between tasks, a pause in a long evening, a small maintenance of something. You settle beside her on the wooden box, and the box is warm under you, warmed by the combined radiation of the two kilns flanking this section of path, the warmth rising through the wood in the same slow, radiant way it has been rising through the brick into your palm all evening, warmth stored and patiently given. You lean back slightly against the kiln wall behind you, and you feel the warmth there too, along your back and shoulders, low and steady and unhurried, the way a held breath is steady, the way a long note on a single string is steady, vibrating just below the threshold of hearing. The sky is predominantly lilac now. The amber has retreated to a thin band very low on the western horizon, still glowing, still holding its color, but narrowed and concentrated. A last line of golden warmth against the spreading lilac, and above it the deepening blue, in which the stars are now clearly visible. Not many, but the first reliable ones, burning with a clarity that comes with very cold, very clean air above a warm plain. You watch them. You watch the stars the way you watch the sediment, without urgency, without the need to name or locate or understand, just watching the light. The Tendwright finishes her bread and wraps the cloth neatly around the remainder of what she has not eaten and returns it to the satchel. And she drinks from a small tin flask. Water, or something like water, you cannot tell. But the act of drinking it is simple and complete, and somehow very right in this place. A small quenching of a small thirst, a small attention paid to a small need. Then she recaps the flask and returns it to the satchel and sits for a moment longer, her hands resting open on her knees, her face turned toward the amber line at the horizon. Just sitting, just looking, just being in the yard at this hour with the warmth in the wood beneath her and the warmth in the brick at her back and the stars appearing and the lilac spreading and the sediment drifting slowly in the residual warmth between the kiln walls. You sit alongside her in the same quality of stillness. After a while, she rises, not abruptly, but gradually, the way a thing that has been still for a long time rises, with full attention to the act of rising. And she picks up the ledger and the rod and walks on. And you walk with her. Your footsteps on the rail bed ties are very quiet now, the creak of the wood softer at this hour, as though the wood itself has settled into its own evening stillness. The 13th kiln. The 14th. The light is different now. The copper light has softened entirely into something cooler and more diffuse. The sky contributing its lilac and its early dark blue, so that the yard is lit partly by the last of the sunset color, and partly by the very first pale beginnings of a deeper evening light. And in this dual lit space, the sediment drifting in the air has changed color too. It is no longer ochre exactly, but something closer to silver, closer to the color of very fine ash. Though it is not ash, it is the same sediment it has always been, only the light has changed around it. It drifts more slowly, perhaps, in the cooling air, or it only seems to, because you have slowed so much yourself. At the 16th kiln, a long, low, horizontal one, more like an extended arch than a cylinder, its proportions flattened, its walls spread wide and low across the ground, the Tendwright does something you have not seen her do before. She takes the listening rod and strikes it lightly against the brick. Not the usual sustained contact, not the long, quiet press of brass tip to wall, but a light, percussive strike, just once. The brass cap ringing against the brick with a clear, brief, round tone. The sound travels. It moves out from the point of contact and through the brick and through the air and through the yard and through the wide plain beyond the yard's walls, and you feel it in your chest. A single, clean vibration. The tone of a brass instrument meeting something very old and very resonant. And the tone carries for longer than you expect, not fading abruptly, but diminishing gradually, like the last note of something, like a bell that has been struck very gently, giving up its sound in the slowest possible way. The tone lasts. You follow it. It lasts long past when you think it will have ended. It persists at the very edge of audibility, barely there, a whisper of vibration. And then it is gone. The silence after it is deeper than the silence before. The yard holds it. The warm brick holds it. The sediment drifting in the evening air holds it. You hold it. The Tendwright makes her notation. The chalk pencil scratch is the only sound in the world for a long moment, and it is exactly the right sound. The path continues. Kiln after kiln, wall after wall, warmth after warmth, chalk after chalk. The slow, patient circuit unwinding through the deepening evening. And you walk through it in a state that is not quite thought and not quite sleep. Something between the two. A gentle suspension, a willing drift. Your footsteps barely register as your own. They're just a part of the yard's rhythm now. Just another quiet contribution to the hum below hearing. Just another element in the slow breathing of the place. Your hand trails along the brick. Warm, smooth, patient. The dry mineral taste in your throat. The sediment drifting. The chalk scratch. The brass ring of the rod. Very faint now. Very far away in your attention. Just a small, clear tone passing through the world. At some point, not the last kiln, not yet, but far along the path, past the count that you have stopped keeping. The Tendwright pauses again at a kiln that has produced a notable accumulation. Not a small fan of dust at the throat this time, but a broader, fuller collection. A shallow drift of pale ochre sediment that is spread along the base of the kiln's full east-facing wall, lying in the shelter of the wall's slight overhang, protected from any wind that might have passed through the yard, perfectly undisturbed, a record of hours. She crouches before it in the near dark. The amber is entirely gone now, the horizon a deep lilac into indigo, the stars bright and numerous, a cool clarity to the air that was not there an hour ago. And she brings out the cup and the sieve and begins her careful work. In the diminished light, the pale dust catches what remains of the sky's color and holds it, lilac and blue, and a very faint, warm residue. And in the Tendwright's hands, the sieve, when she lifts it, is a small frame of sky, the mesh barely visible, the sediment glowing faintly with its borrowed starlight. You watch it from very close this time. You are sitting on the earth itself, leaning your back against the kiln wall, and the warmth in the brick is in your back now, all along your spine. A steady, deep, unhurried warmth, and your eyes are soft on the lifted sieve and the pale glowing dust and the deep sky beyond. You breathe in the dry mineral air, the cold air from the plain, the faint sweetness of something, the cooling sediment, or the old fired clay, or simply the smell of a very long and patient evening. You breathe out. And now there is only one kiln left. You have known it was there for a while. It has been visible from the path for the last several stations, looming at the yard's far edge, larger than any other kiln, substantially larger. Its presence in the distance, a kind of anchor for the whole yard, the destination that the railbeds have all been pointing toward all along. It is enormous in the way that old things become enormous, not through any particular dimension, but through a quality of accumulated presence, a quality of having been here long enough to become part of the landscape's meaning, to become a reference point, a center of gravity. Its brick is the darkest of any kiln in the yard, rust fading toward black in places, and it is also, you can feel this from 20 yards away, the warmest. The warmth coming from its walls is perceptible as a slight thickening of the air, a layering of temperature, cooler further from the wall and warmer close, warmth diffusing outward in concentric invisible bands from the still substantial heat stored in its enormous mass. The Tendwright does her work at this kiln with particular care. She strikes the listening rod 3 times at 3 different heights, low, mid, crown, and each strike sends its brass tone through the yard, the kiln's deeper mass giving the tone a different quality here, a lower fundamental, a longer sustain, so that the third strike's tone is still faintly present in the air when the third notation is complete. She writes more in the ledger at this kiln than at any other. The chalk pencil moves for a long time, that dry, patient scratch, line after line, recording, you imagine, the full complexity of what a kiln of this size and age produces in its deep, slow, interior settling. All the shifts too gradual for anything but the rod and the Tendwright's patient attention to detect. All the small voices of cooling stone. When she is finished, she closes the ledger and stands quietly beside the kiln for a moment, one hand resting against its wall, her face turned toward the dark horizon, not reading anything, not listening for anything in particular, just touching the wall, just letting the warmth come through. Then she settles her back against the kiln's flank, slowly, the way someone settles into a chair at the end of a long evening, and she slides down, not all the way, not quite to sitting, just leaning back against the warm, dark brick at an angle, her weight resting there, her head tilted back very slightly, her eyes open to the stars. The rod rests against the kiln wall beside her. The ledger is under her arm, its work done for tonight. The satchel is at her feet. She is simply resting now, simply leaning against the warmth of the great kiln and letting the evening be what it is. And you come and lean beside her, your back against the warm brick, the warmth moving into your shoulder blades, into your spine, moving upward and downward from every point of contact, seeping slowly through cloth and into skin and deeper, into the places where tension lives, loosening them gently, warmth finding the small, tight places, and simply settling there, simply being warm, simply patient. The sky above is fully dark now, except at the very horizon's west, where a thin, warmth-colored memory of the sunset lingers, and everywhere else the stars are clear and numerous, burning with that cold, clean altitude light, and the yard below the stars is very still. The sediment has settled. In this late hour, in this cooled air, there's very little drift. The particles have settled out of the air and found their places on the earth and the brick, and the air itself is cleaner, clearer, carrying just the cold and the mineral smell and the faint warmth from the kilns. You breathe it in, dry, mineral, warm stone and cold night, and the very faint ghost of fired clay. Your shoulders are very low. Your hands are very soft. The warmth of the kiln is all along your back, and you are leaning into it without any effort, simply resting against a thing that has been holding warmth for a very long time and has more than enough to give. The stars, the yard, the rail beds threading away into the dark, their iron rails catching the faintest light, just barely visible, just thin lines of less dark against the dark, threading through the cooling kilns in their patient parallel curves. The great kiln at your back, exhaling its warmth into you and into the air around you, still and steady and deeply present. The scratch of the chalk pencil is very far away now in your memory, a patient sound, a dry recording sound, the sound of something noticed and held, the brass tone of the listening rod, just the memory of it, a clear round note, diminishing, barely there, the creak of the rail bed, far away, quiet, the warmth in the brick, here, close, in your back and your shoulders and your hands. The sediment drifting, but not drifting now, settled, at rest. Your breathing has found its slowest pace, the one it returns to when you are very tired and very safe, and the day has moved all the way through to its necessary end. In, a long pause at the full. Out, a long pause at the empty. And in again. There's nothing that needs doing. There's nothing that needs deciding. There's only the warm kiln and the cool stars and the deep quiet of the yard and the mineral smell and the Tendwright at your side, also resting, also leaning into the warmth. Her ledger closed and held. The evening circuit complete. Every kiln visited and attended and recorded. Everything noted. Everything known to be resting well. The yard is in good order. The sediment has been sifted and observed and preserved. The tones of the cooling kilns have been heard and transcribed. The warmth is still there and will be there when tomorrow's round begins, patient and deep and unhurried, still radiating, still giving, still warm through old brick long after the last fire. Nothing needs to happen now. Nothing is going to happen now except the slow continuance of this warmth, this quiet, this star-lit still yard. You can close your eyes. The warmth is still there when your eyes are closed. You can feel it all along your back, moving into your shoulders, moving into your hands. Warm old brick, warm old clay, warm old patient stone, the dry mineral smell, there at the back of the throat, very gentle, like dust, like settled dust. The stars are very far away. The yard is very quiet. The warmth is very close. Breathe in, breathe out. The sediment, settling. The warmth, the brick, the yard, the quiet, still, warm, still.